There are two ways this whole trial can go, and with regard to the Republican Party and the possibility of Trump being removed from office. And I think it's really important that we keep in mind that there are these two outcomes. Here's my rant on it. Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, and share it with your friends. Interesting, there are reports that there have been changes to the McConnell resolution. In other words, Mitch McConnell is starting to disintegrate, basically, here. Number one, he has said it'll be 3 days, not 2, for the testimony. So he's giving everybody a little more time. And number two, he says evidence will automatically be admitted. Now, this is not testimony still, but it's evidence unless someone objects. Oh, and then number three, under the revised rules, they will be the House, which has compiled a pile of evidence. You know, they heard from all his witnesses and everything. The House will be allowed to present their evidence. Which brings us to my prediction. I see this shaking out one of two ways. And to some extent, one of those two ways will have something to do with you calling your senators if you have a Republican senator who represents you, or two of them. One of two things is going to happen. Either Trump can keep all these Republican senators, or all but 3 of these Republican senators, cowed, terrified, frightened, quivering in their corners, and keep them voting with him. Either he can do that, or he can't, as we go through this impeachment process. It's really that simple. Now, what happens if he can keep them frightened because they don't respect him, they don't like him, they're afraid of him? Trump is a bully. And very often what happens is that, when bullies are ascendant, everybody's scared to death. I remember Dennis, this kid in elementary school who lived down the street from me. He used to beat the crap out of me all the time. And not just me. He was a bully. Until we got into middle school and he started running up against kids who were bigger than him. And suddenly Dennis was changing his tune. Right? This is how it works with bullies. They eventually meet somebody who's bigger than they are, or stronger than they are, or braver than they are. I mean, bullies by definition are not brave, but you understand what I'm saying. So the way that everybody's expecting this to play out is that Mitch is going to deep six the evidence. Mitch is going to deep six the witnesses. Oh, we'll hear from the witnesses after we've had all the evidence and the arguments. Mitch is going to basically rig the game, and Trump is going to win. That's what everybody's expecting. And Trump is going to win because he will be able to hold at least all but 3 of his Republican senators, so that none of the Democratic amendments or motions are acknowledged. Now, McConnell just gave in on 3 of them, if these news reports are correct. Which leads me to scenario number 2. Scenario number 2 is Trump loses control of Republicans in the House. Now, it starts with a little crack. This is sort of like a dam breaking, right? It starts with a little crack. Mitt Romney coming out and saying, I don't think this is right. And then the crack gets a little wider. 2, 3, 4 other senators who are concerned about their election, their re-election, like Susan Collins or Cory Gardner. Susan Collins in Maine, Cory Gardner in Colorado. Either one of them, or Martha McSally in Arizona, one of them or several of them start saying, okay, Mitt, I'm on your side. And once they hit 3 or 4, and that will probably happen fairly quickly, then all of the Republicans in the Senate, with the possible exception of Lindsey Graham, all the Republicans in the Senate are going to say, thank God. We can replace this guy with Mike Pence. We can do business with Mike Pence. We know Mike Pence. Mike Pence is not crazy. He's not corrupt. He's not mobbed up. He's not a gangster. Yeah, he might have been more than happy to participate with Trump in a gangster event, but, And Trump gets voted out of office. They remove him. And everybody breathes a sigh of relief, and Donald Trump is gone. And I don't think that's impossible. I put right now the odds of that happening at around 5%. But these changes in the rules that Mitch McConnell just made, you know, originally I was thinking 5%, make me think now maybe it's more like 15%. And listening to what I heard of Cipollone's arguments, I don't think they have a case. He's attacking Adam Schiff personally. He was attacking Jerry Nadler as a person. Say, well, when he was applying for this job, like, you know, depreciating, condescending. There's going to become a point when the BS is so thick and so smelly that the Republicans say, okay, enough. And they turn on Trump. And Trump is on the outside looking in. And that could happen that fast. You recall, you know, this started a couple of years ago with Bob Corker, the Republican congressman from Tennessee, or Kentucky, I think it's Tennessee, and Jeff Flake, the Republican senator from Arizona. And they, on the floor of their respective bodies, called out Donald Trump. Well, Trump politically slit their throats. That was the end of them. And that's why all these senators are, as I said, afraid of him. So Trump patched that crack real fast.